Ross Tucker is. There are some people out there saying that we ain't got the pills to say what Ross Tucker is saying about Shedeur Sanders. Here's Ross Tucker about Shedeur and his latest run-ins with the law. Is it run-ins with the law? Do I say it like that?
Yeah.
All right.
No.
Run-ins with the law. Scary.
Last week, when it came out that he got a speeding ticket, I said it's not really that big a deal. I feel very differently about it now. The logic or the mindset to have gotten a speeding ticket and then less than 2 weeks later, you're driving over 100 miles an hour, over 40 miles an hour over the speed limit, less than 2 weeks after you just got a ticket. I don't know if that's entitlement or immaturity. There's got to be some teams that are feeling very good right now that they didn't draft him. There are definitely franchise quarterbacks that have had success after making mistakes like this, but not many. I mean, not many that have the mindset, whatever that is, to do something like this twice in that short of a time frame, to not learn from the mistake 2 weeks earlier. It's honestly like mind-boggling to me.
Okay, I'm just going to come on and ask you guys. If Shedeur Sanders played for the Carolina Panthers, would I be going, it's a speeding ticket? It is 40 over. I want to ask you guys, because are we being, we asked this question yesterday. I got Ross Tucker saying that, which was like, oh, gosh, Ross. But then they asked Albert Breer on the afternoon show, because we asked if we were being too soft on Shedeur yesterday, and then they talked about it on Afternoon Drive with Albert Breer, SI.
You made your bed, now you lie in it. You know what I mean? Like, this is sort of what Shedeur, for better or worse, attracted when he was in college. You know, first at Jackson State and then Colorado. And when you broadcast your life this way, and like you've naturally got star power because of who your dad is, and you lean this hard into it, well, then everything is going to be a bigger deal. It just sort of is what it is. I mean, I'm not saying it wouldn't be a big deal if he didn't do all the extra stuff, because his last name is Sanders, so that's part of it. But he also hasn't shied away from some of the benefits he gets from his last name. And so this is the other side of that double-edged sword.
So I think the Browns need to try to win to begin the year.
Of course.
But I also know that this is probably a team that's not going to be winning a lot of games by the end of the year.
Also true.
And I also know that as of right now, June 25th, they're drafting a quarterback in April of 2026.
Correct.
Now, they have a whole year to change that opinion.
Yes.
But as of right now, they're taking somebody with one of those two picks, or they're moving up with both of those picks to take a quarterback in 2026. So I'm stuck in this weird moment of quarterback, not purgatory, but house money. And I'm thinking, if he's any problem, he just won't be here next year.
Right.
They'll invest in the rookie. So there's so many times where I'm going, well, it's house money. I'm like, well, can this be a distraction? I don't know. Are fifth-round picks who getting pulled over for speeding a distraction? Are they really a distraction? I think, can I make it a distraction? I can make just about anything a distraction. Is it really a distraction? Am I holding back from what I really want to say? I'm not holding back a damn thing. It's a speeding ticket. It was not the smartest thing to do. It was pretty dumb. But he will pay his fine. Hopefully he'll pay his fine. I mean, I don't know. But he'll pay his fine, and hopefully we'll all just move on from something like this. And I'm seeing, well, this is why teams, didn't want to be a part of it. Why? Is it because, now, is this the difference? Because I'm going to tell you right now, Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry, hand to God, aren't checking out what the Shedeurians are saying to them on Twitter.
Right.
They do not care. Guys like Ross and guys like me, well, I'll full on admit, it does get a little bit annoying. Ken's a hater. He hates Shedeur Sanders. No, you don't know what you're talking about. You just dropped in here, and I don't even know if you're a real account or if you're anything like that. No, Ken, you hate Shedeur Sanders. You're a media, and you're a hater. No, I don't hate the guy. Certainly don't hate the guy. Hope he does well, actually. He's a great story, and I think it'd be a lot of fun if he actually did well. And I'd like to use those 2 first-round picks on weapons next year instead of having to wait another year to go out and get wide receivers that are worth a damn at all, especially if we take one certain quarterback that I ain't going to talk about right now. So I'd love to do all that, but no, you're a hit. No. That does get annoying. I will admit to you there.
Yes.
But the Browns are not checking Twitter and MySpace and MySpace no more. Twitter and TikTok and Facebook comments and Instagram comments. The guys in charge don't care. So if they don't allow it to be a distraction, it won't be a distraction. That's why it's like, hey, man, for everybody's good, like, no comments about starting week 1. None of that other stupid stuff. I mean what I say about this. Now, if he were a player for the Pittsburgh Steelers, hey, I'm a person who likes to take advantage and say mean-spirited stuff about the Pittsburgh Steelers. You guys know me as well as I know myself, and you know that I would probably be taking pot shots right now. Guilty as charged. Guilty as charged. But I'll even say this. If he played for Cincinnati or Baltimore, for that matter, I probably wouldn't even care.
And
I probably wouldn't even care.
This would be a much bigger deal if he weren't a 5th-round pick, too. That's the other thing that I keep coming back to. If they would have taken Shedeur Sanders in the 1st round, yes, big deal. Would feel probably different about it. But you brought up the house money aspect of things. It is that. He's a 5th-round pick. He's not expected to be successful here based on where he was drafted. Yes, this is very immature, and I think that when you are his age, especially when you have a last name like his and you have the popularity that he has, I do think that he probably walks around with a sense of invincibility.
The only thing that bothers me out of the entire thing, other than, I know you could have killed somebody, hurt somebody. I know it's not good to be going 40 miles over the speed limit. Okay, I get that. But outside of that, in sports world, the only thing that has bothered me throughout what's become a 2-week saga now over a speeding ticket, the only thing that's bothered me at all has been the excuse of his dad not being around him. Because if he can't function as an adult without his dad there, then we might as well. I'm serious. We might as well just move on now.
Speeding ticket, no speeding ticket doesn't matter.
That's the only, and he didn't say a word about his dad being there. Now we'll check all the podcasts he may be on and all the media, the legendary media that he may have. But if he doesn't mention his dad, as long as he doesn't mention his dad, then I ain't going to really be bothered by it. I'm more bothered by the people like Eric Mangini and a couple other ones who are saying, well, this is the first time he isn't around his father. And if Eric Mangini might be telling me the truth and I just don't see it yet, well, I'm going to be really bothered by it. So I'm going to take nasty shots at Eric Mangini over it. But I'm telling you, of the things that bother me, which it doesn't, if it's his dad ain't around, well, speeding tickets are just the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
If his dad ain't around him, he's going to go out and he's going to act like a moron. He's not going to be able to process the offense. And all the Shedorians out there that are going to be upset on the internet, they'll just blame the Browns and they'll move on with Shedeur when we move on to another quarterback. So that's the only thing that bothers me. Don't sit there and tell me about daddy being here or daddy not being here. You're 23 years old. He's a grown man. And I hope that he knows better than anybody. Like, yeah, you know what? Maybe you didn't get the chance to sow your wild oats. That ain't on me, and that ain't on Browns fans, and that's certainly not even on the Cleveland Browns for taking you on that case. He's a 5th-round pick, and if he can't keep his head straight between April and the beginning of the season, then hell, we'll just move on.
And you hope this
I'm
is
just
the
willing
thing.
to move on.
You hope
but
this is the
I don't
thing.
think that's the – I don't want to believe that's the case with his dad not being around him.
Well, and you hope that this is a thing that makes him grow up a little bit, because we've all been that age, right?
Yeah.
Not everything you did at 23 or I did at 23 you're super proud of. I'm sure he's not super proud of this, but you hope that he grows up because of this. This has to be one of those moments because everyone's going to have them. They're just not all in the spotlight the way that this is. I'm sure at some point when you were that age, Ken, you drove faster than you should have.
I had a beat the hell old truck that I don't think could get up to 102, 101.
Maybe not 101, but I'm sure it went above the speed limit.
Yeah, no, I got speed.
Right? Like we've all been there before to a certain extent. We just weren't Shedeur Sanders, so it wasn't a big deal
But
in the big scheme of
I think
things.
people are confusing soft with, if you're talking about people in Cleveland, if you're talking about radio show hosts, I can't speak for any others other than the guys that we have here at this station. I think you're finding a lot of guys, even Nick. Nick was a guy who was a very big detractor of Shedeur Sanders. I think you're finding a lot of guys who are being hopeful. And they just hope that some way, because I'm telling you, man, if this guy hits, or him or Dylan Gabriel for that matter, because I know there's another rookie out there that people don't want to admit that if they were starting a quarterback week 1 that was a rookie, it would be Dylan Gabriel right now over Shedeur Sanders. You can not want to believe that all you want, but it's the truth. They're hopeful that either one of these guys, and yes, definitely I would say especially Shedeur, because he's the topic of conversation 9 times out of 10 when it comes to the rookies, that he actually does hit. Because if he does hit, plays well, then I'm laughing. I got this 5th-round quarterback that's worth investing in. I have 2 first-round picks next year. I can hit the ground running with this. I don't have to fire anybody. I don't have to go over the terrible searches of looking for head coaches and looking for general managers, which that conversation sucks. I don't have to do any of that stuff. So, yeah, you'll probably find more hopeful people in Cleveland than you have found with all the other ones. And for the other outside detractors or anything like that, well, that's fine. That's perfectly fine to have that opinion on that. The only thing that scares me is that whole conversation about dad being here or not being here. Because if that ends up being true, Right now, I can't say that it's not because I got to hear from Shedeur first. But if that ends up being true, well, then this has all just been a bunch of hot air over the last 3 months. And it's going to continue to be that way until we kick off in September, because if that's the case, then he will definitely drown himself out of the league if he can't be anywhere without his dad as an adult.